This is Comcast Newsmakers.
And welcome back to Comcast Newsmakers. I'm Steve Swat. My guest this segment is David Hosley, president of the Great Valley Center out of UC Merced. Thanks for being with us.
Well, it's a pleasure.
And I suppose we should say at the very beginning, the Great Valley, which is sort of your purview, runs from Bakersfield in the south up to Red Bluff in the north. That's 450 miles.
We even work in Redding and Chico.
Okay. And population growth is an amazing, challenging issue that you're going to have to deal with. I understand the valley, roughly in the Great Valley, it's going to go from 6+ million currently to about 14.5 million by 2050. So managing that growth is an enormous challenge.
California is going to grow faster than the rest of the country over that period of time, and the Central Valley is going to grow 50% faster than the rest of the state. So that's some incredible growth, and how we handle this is a super challenge. And I think it's very important as we look to our future in the Central Valley that we talk about leadership and where we're going to have our leaders for the future. You know, it's one thing to have somebody that is a leader in a community. You might be the leader of the Hmong community, or you might be the leader of the building industry community. But the real challenge is to find people who can see a bigger picture. So at the Great Valley Center, as I go about the valley, I collect the people who have that bigger vision. Maybe it's because of their business interests. You might have somebody who has a supermarket chain that serves most of the valley, or it's a trucking company where they're going up and down the valley and really counting on good transportation systems to get goods and services around our region. Educators. If you look at UC Davis, they have a huge footprint. It goes from Stockton all the way up to Redding, or UC Merced, again from Stockton to Bakersfield. So when you find the people who have this broader vision, you want to work with them, but they're not just always there. And so we also work at the Great Valley Center in trying to help train leaders for the future, and we have a program called IDEAL, which takes emerging leaders from all over the valley and in the course of 6 months introduces them to all the challenges that we have, the challenges of growth that you mentioned. But what are the issues around water? What about the growing diversity of our region? How is that going to play out in the future? What can we do about transportation and ensure that we really have those east-west roads that we need now to complement I-5 and Highway 99? So leadership is critical, and the Great Valley Center wants to help make sure that we have quality leadership going forward.
Of course, all those issues are interconnected, and basically growth sort of is at the bottom of that pyramid. But when you talk about leadership, I gather you must be concerned about the so-called brain drain, where some of your top folks are coming out of the universities, but they're going elsewhere because there aren't enough good-paying jobs, or the environment isn't what it should be, or other challenges throughout the valley.
I'm glad that you mentioned that, because there's a very interesting phenomenon taking place now in the Central Valley. They're called boomerangs. These are young people who grew up in the valley and then they went off to school someplace else, and then they took that first job someplace else. But we're finding now, as they get into their late 20s and early 30s, they're coming back again to the valley. There's something about the lifestyle, the quality of life, the family atmosphere in the Central Valley, maybe even the pace of life here, that these young people are resonating with, and we're getting a little bit of a effect of having the drain come back our direction. Now, I don't want to say that we don't have some challenges, because we're not yet paying the kinds of salaries to compete with Los Angeles and San Francisco and other large communities when it comes to those young people who are coming out of school. But we're making progress in our bigger cities, where there's a vibrant life now for people in their 20s and 30s. And you can take Sacramento as an example, or Fresno now is really creating a place where when you get out of Fresno State, you might want to stay in Fresno. People in Chico, they get out of Chico State, a lot of them like to stay in Chico. And so we are working on being able to attract these young people so we have the workforce that we need for the future.
Great. Well, that's very important, and I'm glad to see you're working on it so energetically. David Hosley, thanks for coming back and talking about the Great Valley Center.
I'm glad to be here.
And thanks to our viewers for watching Comcast Newsmakers. I'm Steve Swat. We'll see you next time.